Moving on to part 5 of our Centipede project. And in part, boy, am I having trouble speaking right now. In part 5, we will implement collisions between bullets and the centipede. The bullet will eliminate a node and also increase the score. If all nodes are cleared, we'll move on to level 2 and so on. Okay. So nothing has changed in our index file other than I updated it to part 5. So go ahead and remember to do that. Most of the coding that we will work on will be in our bullets object. We're going to approach this in our current bullets object. We're going to approach this collision from the perspective of the bullet. So let's go to the browser and see what our goal will be. Let me refresh this, and then we'll talk about where we're starting. So here's our centipede. You know, we have the score and stuff displayed at the top, and now we can fire bullets out of the tip of our gun. And what we can now do once we complete this lesson is we can eliminate nodes. And once I clear this node out, or this centipede out, let's see if I can do this. We will move to a new level, and the centipede will increase in speed a little bit. See, so now he's going a little faster. All right, and so on. So you can see we've increased the level. I'm also giving points for connecting with nodes in the centipede. Okay, so that's what we're shooting for. We're starting to get some semblance of a game here. Right now, we're back with what we ended with in part 4, which is simply a centipede that when it hits our player, it reduces the lives. All right, back to the code. So we've already talked about how to check for collisions, and so I won't spend too much time talking. Let's get this thing coded. So I'm going to add a method to our current bullets object. Remember, the main feature of the current bullets is that it keeps an array of the fired bullets. And this method is going to check for collisions. So I'm going to call it check collide and make a function. Let me scoot this up a little so we can see here. And since the centipede object is global, we won't include that in the parameters. Okay, I'm going to set a couple of variables, one called bullet to remove, because if we happen to bullet to remove, if we happen to make a collision with a node from the centipede, we're going to take the bullet out and the node out. But right now I'm setting this variable to something called none, which is just a string, no big deal. I'm also going to set a variable called node to remove. In case I make that connection, I also need to remove a node. Now I'm using these variables because as we run through our loops, I don't want to remove the node or the bullet during the loop. We'll change the length of the array while we're trying to walk through it. So that's why I'm removing these after I run through the loops. So essentially what we need is we need to run through all of our bullets. So we'll make a for loop that focuses on our bullets. And I'll use the counter variable b for that one. And b will be less than this.fired.length. Because the fired array is keeping track of the bullets that we have in the game. And then what we're going to do is, for each bullet, we're going to see if it's hit any of the nodes. So I need a loop to run through the nodes. And we'll use variable c for the centipede nodes. And we're just running through the centipede body, checking each node. Trying to check for some typos here, make sure I don't have any. This is looking pretty good so far. Okay, now, just like we did with the centipede intersecting with the player, we're just going to set a distance variable. We'll call it d. And we're going to check the distance between the bullet, which is this dot fired bracket B, and the current centipede node. So this is the current bullet. We get the X and Y coordinates for that. And then we also want to check the current node, which is centipede.body bracket C, X, and I'm starting to get lazy, so I'm just going to copy this and change it to a Y. Okay, so now we've got that distance stored in D. And just like last time, we need to see if that distance is less than the 2 radii added together. So we'll set a decision here. If D is less than this dot fired B dot size over 2, because we want half of the size, plus centipede dot body bracket C, because we want that element, dot size over 2. Okay. If our distance is less than that, then we have a collision. Okay. Now, let's go ahead and just put that in as a remark. Okay. I'm just making a note of that here so we know in English for the humans what we're doing here. When a collision occurs, we need to set the bullet to remove I'm going to type that correctly. I'm going to set the bullet to remove to be the bullet that we're currently on, which is B. And I want to set the node to remove equal to C. And because we had a collision, we're going to increase the game score. Okay, and then when that if's done, what does this go to? Looks like I got extra. That goes to the for loop. Oh, I didn't tab this over. Sorry. My indenting is messed up. Now, it has occurred to me that I do have a flaw in my logic, which I think I'll address in a different part. I'll explain it here in a second, but let me finish off what I was planning. And then we may soon decide to adjust this. But right now I'm just going to check, and if bullet to remove is not none, so not equal to none, then I'm going to remove a bullet. The way you remove a bullet from the fired array is you splice it. So I'm going to splice bullet to remove, comma 1. One item from the array. And then similarly, if node to remove does not equal none, if we made it through the loop and change the value, then we want to remove that node from the centipede. Nope, yeah, dot splice. Sorry, I'm actually thinking in my brain right now about the logical error I have here, which will not show up in the code, but we could run into trouble, and we'll discuss that. Okay, so we're going to remove that particular node. Now here's what I'm thinking. Eventually, our centipede is going to be spread out over the canvas. Because as we start to break this thing into pieces by removing nodes and introducing mushrooms, which will change the direction of the centipede, it's possible, it's unlikely, but it's possible that more than one bullet will intersect with more than one node during one cycle of this particular method. So down the road, I think what we'll probably do is make bullet to remove an array, and we will push on any nodes that need to be removed and any bullets that need to be removed. I'm not going to implement that now though because I haven't run through and tested it. For the type of game we have now where we're not intersecting with more than one bullet and more than one node at a time, this code will work. But just thought of it now as we're typing, we're going to have to address that when the time comes, which is going to be very soon. Okay, so if there are no typos here, let's go ahead and talk about how we implement this in the game, right? So where are we going to have it check for the collisions? That's the real question. And we're going to do that in game. So let's go to our game. And here's our game playing scene. So a couple things are going to happen. After I check for a player collide, let's go ahead and also check for a bullets collide. So in our bullets array, let's call the function check collide. Okay. We've decided not to send it the centipede variable because it's already global. So I'm going to take that out of our player collide as well. And I'll have to remove that back here. I've already done that here. Good. So let's just take that out. So the centipede variable is already global. So for now, whether or not that's proper programming practice, it's just for our program it makes sense to do that. Okay, so we're going to check for bullets colliding. And then the other thing we need to do is we need to implement our score. So let's go back to bullets. If we do have a collision, I already implemented the score, I increased the score. That's excellent, good. Now here's the other thing. If the centipede's body length goes to 0, in addition to increasing, in addition to regenerating the centipede, I also want to level this thing up. So what we're going to do first is we're going to change the speed. We're going to change level speed to slightly higher than it was before. So actually, let's level up first. So let's level plus plus. And then we're going to increase our speed a little bit. Now, if this is too fast, we can change this. But basically what I'm doing is I'm scaling down the value of level. I've decided to divide by 6 for starters. And then I'm going to add 1 to that to round it up. So I'm adjusting our level and I'm setting a new speed before I regenerate. Okay. So we're running through our gameplay, updating our centipede, our bullets, our player. We're checking for the player collision with the centipede, and we're now also checking for the bullets to collide. And as soon as the centipede gets eliminated, we'll level up and then regenerate. All right, let's find out how many errors I have. So let's refresh. This is our old code from part 4. We're going to refresh and see how part 5 goes. Okay, so far so good. It's starting. Let's fire away and clear out some of these. Ooh, they're clearing out. This is awesome. I'm getting a score increase every time I hit. That's good. Oh, and I can't hit any of these now. So now I got to try and line up and eliminate this thing. We want to see if it levels up. We want to see if we go to level 2 and does the centipede increase in speed and does that cause any problems. It'd be nice if I could actually hit these things. Ah! Got to wait for it to come by one more time. Yeah, this first level is ridiculously slow. And, okay, let's see what happens. Oh, I missed it. Are you kidding me? This is embarrassing. Wasting the video time. Ooh, and I almost crashed. Let's get him this time. Okay, we got it. Ooh, and he's faster now. All right. And I have no issues right now. So is it possible that this video is done in way under 24 minutes? That would be excellent. Actually, I'm saying that, but I have no idea how long I've been talking. Okay. I do want to check the console and just make sure we haven't introduced any errors. But you can see how that's working. Let's just try and eliminate one more level and see how fast it gets. We can play with that little formula that I made. Oh, you're kidding me. We can play with that formula that I made and adjust the level speed as things go. But right now, this seems to be good for level 2. Oh, I missed it again. So we've concluded that I'm terrible at the centipede game, even though I have written the code. Okay. Oh yeah, look at that. Now he's coming in. Okay. All right. All right, so I'm going to just quickly go to my console and make sure I haven't introduced any errors. Where is it? There it is. All right, this is just some code that we must have been printing out from my bullets. So this all looks good. So excellent work. Here we go. Let's double check our code. All we did is add a collision method to our bullets array. So this is our current bullets object. Okay, with the asterisk that we'll have to change this later. I'm going to just put that in as a comment. Because it's possible we might knock out more than one bullet and more than one node within each cycle. So I'm just putting that for the future, but for now we won't have that because our centipede is all in one line. We did that, and then in game we went and added some code to level up if our centipede is eliminated, and we added the bullets .checkCollide function there in our game playing scene. So that's it. We're done. This is part 5. Looking forward to putting part 6 in, where we start to introduce some other characters into our canvas. So until then, good luck with your code. Let's get this thing working, and if you need me, you know where to find me. Take care.